So it's 3 minutes after 10 here in the East Coast, and we're getting started with another edition of the Tuesday Wrestling Podcast. I would say at this point, you probably should start getting used to the amalgamation pay-per-views podcast because right now I don't feel like watching Raw for the most part, even though there's a lot of things I'm very intrigued about. But I wasn't able to really check that out until I kind of caught up today. So we might start doing this show go back to the Wednesday format, but tonight is the night because it just makes sense because there's a lot of stuff we got to discuss. So welcome to yet another wrestling podcast exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. I am your moderator for this evening. Joining me, as always, the true voice of professional wrestling here on the Popcast Network, and that is Ashley.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know where to start.
That's why we're doing a show tonight.
Yeah, no, I know, but I literally do not know when to start. Because part of me wants to bring up the sad stuff first.
Right.
Some of it. The first of which, apparently somebody died tonight at SmackDown.
I saw that actually. It popped up on my Twitter feed.
Somebody in the front row. We can't verify this completely because they did a very good job of framing the camera angle so you couldn't see anything.
Right.
Apparently, whether it was a heart attack or something, but somebody was getting CPR from paramedics and medical staff right at the ringside barrier area. And reportedly, that person was carried away with a blanket over them.
Wow.
We don't have confirmation whether that is somebody dying or whether it's somebody that was, has gone on to get medical attention.
Generally, when someone puts a sheet over someone's body, that usually means that they've passed away.
Yeah, well, because we're just seeing sheet over the body. I don't know whether that's like they've wrapped them up sort of like a blanket, or whether it's like it's over the entire body to obviously shield it and keep the respect for the family and whatever. So, thoughts and prayers to that person's family, and then we have to go to UFC. Because a UFC fighter, Rodrigo de Lima, who is 26, was killed Sunday night. Apparently by an Uber driver.
Wow.
Apparently Rodrigo got into a verbal altercation with Jefferson Roger Maciel, which led to Maciel kicking him out of the car. Maciel initially drove away from the scene, but then turned around and basically ran him over from behind.
Good God.
Police have yet to find him, and Uber put a statement out to TMZ that Uber have basically said we will no longer be running. He's no longer under our books and whatever. Apparently this was because he is Brazilian. This was actually in Belém Horizonte in Brazil. It says here Rodrigo died in his injuries, survived by a wife and 2 young children. Uber said the allegations are horrible, saying, as soon as we learned of this incident, we immediately removed the driver's access to the app and we stand ready to assist law enforcement with their investigation. In all honesty, if you wanted to track him better, shouldn't they have left him still having access to the app? Because then they could track him.
That's a good point.
But, I guess they don't want him to get somebody else. And then somebody gets wise to him, and then the driver, goes more on a bloody crazy spree. So I think they might have done it just for safety as well. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. And then obviously, there was a legend that died this week. I think mainly on the front of Canada and whatever. Let me get the details. Mighty John Quinn, who wrestled in the 60s, 70s, into the early 80s, mostly in Canada, but was a huge star in England, passed away, I think, Sunday at the age of 78 from complications in surgery during a stroke. He drew the only true sellout at Wembley Arena by a UK promotion for his 1979 match with Big Daddy. The other Daddy Wembley shows that legend has it were sellout, including the Haystacks match, which is always seen as like the biggest match ever, actually only drew between 5,000 and 7,000. Was a major star in several Canadian territories, had a 68 Madison Square Garden main event against Bruno when he went by the name of the Kentucky Butcher. Had multiple matches with Sammartino in the other major arenas as well. Was a bigger star in Europe, though, when he held the area's World Heavyweight Championship 4 times, holding it as late as 86, and kept going back to Europe until falling out with the UK promotion, which I'm guessing would have been World of Sport in roughly 87. And later years was beset with a multitude of health issues. Was also the cousin of Pat Quinn, who's the former coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs ice hockey team. So, yeah. Not like a giant big name, you could argue, passing, but it's a recognizable one in some places of the world, I'd say. So,
Right.
Yeah, might as well get that out of the way because, dear Lord. Pretty crazy shit. That's what I'm saying. And then also we saw the death of the Viking Experience in a slightly more light-hearted way.
Absolutely. But it's still not good.
No.
I understand the true background of Ray Rowe and doing like the dressing up like the Viking and everything like that. But you don't necessarily have to incorporate it into the gimmick with calling them Vikings.
And the Fallout is now called the Viking Experience.
That is stupid. It will be called Fallout, and that's all I have to say. Technically, no, it's not Fallout because Fallout is the Sidewinder, and this thing is what is a pop-up Samoan, pop-up facebuster, pop-up Samoan drop. No, it's a pop-up into an over-the-shoulder power slam.
Yeah. So it is slightly different.
Yes, so they're not even using Fallout anymore. Lame. Super lame.
So in terms of the recaps, to quickly go through it, the opening segment last night on Raw was weird. It was just like Triple H is here, and then Seth comes out, obviously being from Iowa. So, and they were talking about, who's going to be my next challenger, which is like, but we know there's triple threat matches, so it's a mystery as to who it's going to be. Except, oh look, here's Samoa Joe. Oh look, here's Rey Mysterio. Oh look, here's Drew McIntyre. Oh look, here's Miz. Oh look, here's Baron Corbin. Oh look, here's AJ Styles. And Rollins goes, I'm ready for any of you. And it's like, well, that's how we wasted 20 minutes, everybody. AJ won the first triple threat in a pretty good match, in all honesty. The really nice thing, so the finish was like Mysterio gave a 619 to Joe, went for the splash on him, I think.
Right.
But Styles caught him in the air, power bombed him onto Joe, and then Styles clashed Mysterio onto Joe, who was on the mat. And then Styles pinned Joe for the win. So, pretty good. And apparently something went wrong because Samoa Joe's nose was busted pretty badly. It was trickling just like Becky's. Then they had John Cena guest hosting the Ellen show from last week. And by the looks of it, did a better job than bloody Ellen does.
Cena's a natural born host. I really think they need to give him some sort of a talk show.
So then we have Naomi and Billie Kay.
Oh, dear God.
With the Iconics doing some weird Ariana Grande sort of jokes and whatever. And Corey basically went, "Who wrote that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, we can't blame R.D. Evans." Basically, it was like Naomi's got nobody to protect her. Naomi won the match in 72 seconds. Women's wrestling, everybody. Then Baron Corbin beat The Miz and Drew McIntyre in a match which may be surprising to say Corbin did okay in.
That's not saying much, though.
Considering the last few months of Baron Corbin matches, it is. Baron actually seemed like he could wrestle on this one. It didn't make up for the main event being sort of under par, but whether it was because of Miz and Drew being able to drag him through, it was a good one. Basically, McIntyre hit the Claymore on Miz, but Corbin threw Drew out and stole the pin on Miz. So he goes on to face AJ.
Fits his character to do something like that too.
And then AJ basically steals Samoa Joe's gimmick of having the towel around his neck. Saying, how it'll be him and whatever. So then here comes Sammy. He's jubilant. The 10 months that he was gone from all of this, and all the fans were the happiest of his life. And he showed times when he was hiking in Norway and sunbathing in Mexico and seeing a castle in Scotland, which I'm pretty sure wasn't a castle. It was some place somewhere in the centre of Glasgow or Edinburgh that wasn't a castle. But whatever. And he said what made him unhappy before was, it wasn't happy being surrounded by the egotistical superstars in the back. It was the fans for creating him and perpetuating this toxic environment. And say, "Oh, how about you will take a trip? That's right. You can all go to hell." And I'm like, okay, this angle is now losing its momentum. So Zayn is a wrestler that doesn't want to wrestle. I don't get this.
It's a good concept to start with, but I have a feeling they're going to drop the ball. And it's not Sammy's fault.
To some extent, I think they already have.
That's a shame.
Then we had Cedric Alexander and Cesaro. Cesaro coming out to the bar's music, including the bloody bagpipes and everything.
That needs to change.
And a bloody Titantron that looked like it was made on Windows 95. So I don't know what happened there. Cesaro, though, winning with the uppercut, which was a nice surprise. And then Charlie interviews the Usos, said all the Raw tag teams are rubbish. And then when they brought up the Lucha House Party, they said about, we're ending the party, and you shouldn't drink and drive. And they both looked at each other and basically winked at each other. So
that's funny.
They're ribbing each other because they both got done. And then Revival basically say that this is the Revival rehabilitation center or something. And then the Usos were apparently asleep because that was a thing. And then the Viking Raiders destroyed Lucha House Party before a match could even happen. And then it got worse because it's time for Becky Lynch cutting a promo on Lacey Evans.
Oh, dear God.
Lacey coming out and says, "Why have you always wanted to fight?" And I'm going, "Because she's Finlay." Maybe she's always let her emotions get the best of her because she's Irish, or like a typical man, she always wanted to be the center of attention. She'll teach Becky a lesson and win both titles. And I'm going, wait, what?
No.
How can you win both titles? And so Becky faced Alicia Fox. It is worth noting Alicia Fox was fucking terrible in this match.
Yeah, shock surprise.
If anything, this told me Alicia's should be cut in the next few weeks.
I hope that happens.
With the current gimmick she's got, she might as well go to Ring of Honor and try and bury that company again.
Oh, boy.
And then, disarm a win, and within like a second of the bell ringing and the match being over, she gets in and supplies not one but two women's rights. So that's a thing. So then we have Richard O'Shea versus Robert Roode.
Okay, I want to talk about
AKA what happens when Rick Rude fucks Dan the B7.
Now, when I first saw him, and it's funny because Dave brought up the same thing I did when I was listening earlier today. He looks like Don Fry, number one.
Him as well. It's like a love child of all three.
Like, I see the Silas Young thing with the mustache. I see the Joey Ryan thing.
Dan Severn. To me, it was Dan Severn and Rick Rude.
See, if they want to go all in with him being Rude, they could do it easily.
Yeah. I am the illegitimate son of Rick.
Bobby Roode is great when he's a very great heel and definitely knows what he's doing. He can definitely get this character over. So I'm curious to see where we go. And he wins too, so that makes it even better.
Yeah, the big surprise. Basically, Rude avoided the 630 glorious DDT, of which apparently, according to Adam Martin, formerly of WrestleView, some of the people around him were saying they should call the finishing move now the mustache ride.
I think Joey Ryan goes to somebody.
And then
we want to talk about this.
And then one of the best things I've seen on WWE in about 2 years happened.
Yep.
We have Firefly Funhouse.
I have watched this.
With Ray basically being a creepy kid show host. Sort of like a cross between like all, to some extent Pee-wee, but more like any sort of like host of like, I guess, a block of children's television. When the person is like really excited and it's like, oh, I know you, despite the fact there's no communication between the television set and whatever and the kid.
He's got the Mr. Rogers sweater. I mean, there's a lot of creepy undertones to this, and I'm really curious
gloves.
Where this is gonna go.
The gloves with the hurt and heal.
Yes.
And what was it? Dex. What was the name of the fucking buzzard?
So it was Mercy the Buzzard.
Mercy the Buzzard.
He had the Waylon Mercy / Max Cady from Cape Fear like get up on.
And then was it Pamela?
I like how the name was Mercy.
Was it Pamela the Witch?
I couldn't get the name. Oh no, I thought it was Abby.
And then he talks about the old him, and there's booing from the fake kids.
Oh my god, this is great.
So there's a cardboard cutout of Bray Wyatt, and he listens to his Hurt Glove. And from out of nowhere, a chainsaw appears, and he chainsaws the cardboard cutout in half.
This was amazing. Amazing in every way possible.
At first, I was concerned by the whole box thing and the Conjuring universe going to its 47,000th film after apparently the Curse of La Lorna, or whatever the hell it's called, is apparently that's a Conjuring film, because of course it fucking is.
Movie review this week.
Does that mean there's 3 Conjuring films coming out this year? Oh no, wait, none was technically last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But that's still 3 in the space of 12 months, because isn't it Conjuring 3 that's coming out in a couple of months?
I mean, that makes me happy because those movies are actually good.
Or no, is it? Oh no, it's the Annabelle sequel, prequel, whatever the fuck. I can't remember. I can't remember. And then AJ beat Baron Corbin.
Who cares? So yeah, it's just like this program. It's like we have a demented horror host in our lore by the name of HR Blood and Guts. And I kind of got a little bit of that vibe too. It's like I feel like it was very, very Halloween Horror Nights, because it was one of those things. Like, there's things like, I don't watch Cartoon Network, but I know a lot of people that do. And these are those things that air at like 4 in the morning on Cartoon Network. Isn't there like a game that exists now, or like a meme or something, or "Don't touch me, I'm scared," or something like that?
Probably something like that.
So I like how the reactions of the kids seem very cultish, to the point that they could be. It's like he's getting children to do his bidding for him now. I like that too. I like it a lot. Kind of reminds me of something you'd see on like UHF, like a demented like UHF show, like the Weird Al Mike Richards movie.
I'm trying to think. There are some like weird bits in a lot of Peter Serafinowicz's stuff. If you've seen any of them, like was it Michael Six or something? The robotic chat show host that eventually just goes wrong and starts killing people.
Well, I noticed today when I was reading about after I got off work, because I actually got off work early today. Well, not early, but early for me. But we had a little bit of time after I got done running my 6.2 miles. Thing is, I noticed that apparently Vince wants this to be. Wants it to get over, and wants it to get over any way possible, because this is leading to a lot more dark and disturbing character for Bray Wyatt, and I'm all for that, because
this is the right kind of creepy. This is the right kind of creepy to be somehow similar, but also completely different to the previous angle.
Agreed completely. And who knows where we're going with this? I mean, we've already got the Buzzard puppet, which still has Bray's old voice if you really look into it. And then
I'm trying to work out who the voice of Pamela is.
I mean, it couldn't. I mean, it's not now, but I mean, it could end up being Nikki Cross. That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are thinking they're going to put Showtime in this storyline too, which is a possibility as well. We didn't see the bunny show up, so I know the bunny's coming soon. And like I was mentioning, I was looking on the wall, like the background of the set, and there is a tack for another picture, but it's not there.
Okay, that just seems a little bit too creepy.
So something tells me there's another picture that exists, or there's another friend we haven't met yet. This has a really good ability to be something really must watch for the summer, or they're going to screw it up. I like the hurt and the heel gloves. Again, more Cape Fear, honestly. And Bray Wyatt is somebody that can actually get characters over that most people can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, his Zowie Wowie line, that was priceless.
Zowie Wowie. Oh, I love it.
Sounding even more like Juice Robinson by the day. Um, no lie. But yeah, it was interesting, and I'm curious to see where we go with this. I mean, we could see a new gang maybe. Like for example, maybe we're going in like the Rob Zombie, the Firefly family for House of a Thousand Corpses, and we're going with that vibe eventually. Find out that the kid, like there's a rumor going around online right now saying that Bray has been institutionalized, and when he was talking about he was punished, he was taken care of for his wrongdoing. There's somebody else that's pulling the strings right now. And like maybe like Bray has a guru, and that's where Eric Young comes in.
There are no strings on me. I mean, honestly, it depends what brand. Because obviously they're airing it on both, so they're leaving it open as to whether it's going to be SmackDown or Raw.
This sounds like it's a Raw angle, though. But at this point, I think they're just trying to get the most coverage for people to see this story.
Oh, definitely. I like it.
I think it's great. And that's the reason why I'm very glad there was the UK WWE feed that I got to actually watch the video at work today. It was very nice. I was on break, but still, I got to see it because otherwise I wouldn't have known this thing happened. Except my Twitter feed blew up last night when I was seeing that. When I was doing another podcast that will be showing up on this network sometime in the very near future.
Uh-oh. He teasing, boys. He teasing.
Not my show. I'm just a part of it. So
You're part of it. You're part of the union. So SmackDown opens awkwardly because after everything we talked about what happened at the start, buddy, here's the footage of Reigns hitting Vince. And Shane saying that the footage made him sick to his stomach and that the footage was horrific. And I'm like, considering what's happening, like, about 10 meters away from you, is that the right thing to do at this minute?
could it be possible they weren't completely aware that was going on?
No. Basically, he said that attacking Vince was like defacing the US flag. He
No.
wanted consequences. But basically, he wanted Roman to come out. And he came out. Reigns got the mic and was looking at it and smacked it down with a big old bump. And then Shane smacked his down with a big old bump. And they were going to get into it. Except here comes Elias. And it turns in basically to a 2-on-1 beatdown, which ultimately finishes with Elias hitting the drift away on Roman.
He's using the Golden Gate spin now. I noticed that in the clip I saw on Facebook, which is good because I like it better than the swinging neck breaker. I think the Golden Gate spin is a lot better, and especially when he does it to someone the size of Roman, it actually makes sense.
Kayla interviews Kofi backstage, talking about winning the title, and then here's Xavier and here's Big O, with Kevin making sure, he was certain that Kingston was going to beat Nakamura because New Day rocks. And then it's time for Finn Balor versus Andrade.
Nice.
Of which, before the match, Selena Vega goes, "You tried to run away from Andrade in the Superstar Shakeup, but we came to SmackDown." I'm like, well, in all honesty, Zelina, you ran away first.
Yeah.
If the rumors are to be true, it was either Fox Deportes wanting a Spanish star on their talent to get pushed, or it was Charlotte's tits that saved Andrade. Or both. I don't know. The really interesting thing, Finn won. So I'm guessing they're going to maybe do a 2 out of 3 falls at Money in the Bank?
You mean they actually had a champion win? That never happens.
Yeah, but because it evens it up at 1-1, that's why I'm wondering whether they're going to do a 2 out of 3
Possible.
at Money in the Bank. Admittedly, it was basically Zelina went for a crossbody on Balor, but he got out of the way and Andrade caught her. So Andrade put her down, and then Balor uses that as an advantage to hit the running drop kick and then the coup de grace. And then Elias sang a song and challenged him to a match at Money in the Bank. And Shane just jumps in and goes, "Oh, that song was great." And he's like, "You sure about the challenge?" And Elias says, "Yeah, I want the match." And apparently they were actually sat on the back of a limo because they immediately get in and drive the hell off.
Okay.
So then, Kairi Sane versus Peyton Hoyce.
Interesting.
They have a video package with Sonya and Mandy basically saying, "Why the hell have you formed this team of Asuka and Kairi? You know, when your new team blows up in your face, don't think you've got a chance of reforming Absolution." And I'm going, thank fucking God. And then here come the Iconics and basically go, "Oh, you think you're a bunch of superheroes? Avengers Assemble. We are not superheroes. You're super lamos." I'm like, why didn't you say zeros? Because zeros sounds like heroes. Lamos sounds like Damo, and apparently he's missing.
Crappy writing strikes again.
Then again, apparently Nikki's going after her twin sister called Nikki. So I don't know what the shit's going on with that. I love it, but you know. Sane wins in about 3 minutes, but still bloody short match. And then Absolution came out on the stage, mocked the faces. And then here comes Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, and I'm like, what? I understand they made changes last night, which we'll get to in a minute, but no, we're making even more changes on the fly. At this rate, why have we got a brand split? Because it seems like everybody's showing up on each other's shows for the past weeks. And then Aleister Black's saying, "You fans know who I am, but I can't explain the complex tragedy of my character." And I'm like, oh God, he's gone useless. Aleister Black's gone useless because they don't know how to write for him because it isn't NXT. He's fucked. He's actually fucked. So here comes Chad Gable, ready to take on Jinder Mahal, and gets fucked up by Lars Sullivan.
Great.
Jinder somehow manages to flee, only for the Singhs to get murdered by Lars. Then R-Truth shows up, not joking and smiling, like proper serious. And then Lars took him out. So that kills the whole legend killer gimmick, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Kurt, Hardy's, Mysterio, Truth, Gable, and Jinder. Two
Well,
of these things are not like the other things.
yeah, it also you're not destroying former NWA/TNA world champions either.
God, if only Rey Mysterio actually won the 5-star wrestling championship, I could have brought that into contention. Got to cry now. Then here comes Charlotte saying Becky pinned Ronda. She didn't pin me. So Becky came out and says, "Look, I didn't beat you because I was too beating Ronda because I know I've beaten you because I've beaten you multiple times." And Charlotte's like, "It's injustice that you're champion, but I'm in your head. I've got you sorted." And it's like, and Becky's like, "No, I'm the one in your head because I've already beaten you." And Charlotte's like, "Oh, you're scared, and I'm next in line, and I want you after Lacey Evans at Money in the Bank." And Becky goes, "Why don't you give other people a chance, like Mickey or Bailey or Ember Moon?" And then here comes Bailey and says, "Thanks for the shout out, but Becky, you've never beaten me." And Flair goes, "Get to the back of the line because this is my show." And I'm like, considering the rumors about how you swung your handbag in shame at getting your boyfriend/fiance back, maybe it is her show. And Bailey challenged Flair to a match and really got in her face and whatever. They had a pretty good match, although it is worth noting that Charlotte went for a moonsault, but Bailey moved. But when Bailey moved, Charlotte nearly stomped her in the abdomen, coup de grace style. It was clearly Charlotte overstretched there, or didn't indicate which way she wanted Bailey to roll to get out the way. So that was very lucky. And because she's Roman Reigns, Charlotte won with a spear. Then Becky's in the back being interviewed by Kayla and basically says, "I'm defending the Raw title against Lacey, and then I'm defending the SmackDown title against Charlotte." So Becky's doing 2 matches at the pay-per-view. I hope this means double the money for her for appearance fee.
I doubt it.
Just to rub it in the face of Sasha Banks even more. Look at the tag team division. It's shit. Look at all your friends being in title pictures, and you're not. And then the rumor is she's just willing to ride out the contract until it expires so she can go somewhere else. They replayed the Firefly Funhouse thing. And then it's Kofi versus Nakamura. Which is pretty good. Basically, Kingston went for Trouble in Paradise, but Nakamura ducked and hit the SOS, but Rusev jumped in, so it was DQ. Xavier and Owens made the save. Then Owens backdropped Xavier onto Rusev on the floor to take him out. Then Nakamura hit the Kinshasa on Xavier. And then Owens was basically checking on Kofi. Nakamura tried to attack, and Kofi shoved Kevin out the way to save him and hit the Trouble in Paradise on Nakamura. And then super kick from out of nowhere as if it's the Young Bucks. Tore off the New Day shirt, beat down Kofi, threw him into the barricade, threw him in the ring, got the belt again, got in Kingston's face, basically saying, "Yeah, had it nice with your kids. This is my time now. I've been waiting for months for this." Kingston did sort of get a fight back a bit, and they sort of did go toe-to-toe for a little. Owens basically got the better. Tried to give him the powerbomb on the apron, but Xavier made the save with a drop kick through the ropes. And then Owens beat down Xavier and apron powerbombed him instead. And medical officials and referees and Sanjay Dutt were there going, "Go to the back, Kevin. Go to the back. You've done your spot. We need to get the ring empty for 205 Live." And that's what went down. A really, really good SmackDown.
Sounds like it.
Despite some of the women's shit. In all honesty. Just trying to see what went down on. Is it still going on? Oh no, we're still going on. Don't know whether you've got a feed up, Owen.
I do not.
It looks as if Humberto Carrillo beat Drew Gulak with a sunset flip power bomb followed by an Aztec press. And okay, this is interesting. So Drake Maverick's letting Maria know that she's getting involved in her husband's matches too much, and Kendrick shows up with Maria saying Tozawa is a coward. And Tozawa attacked Kanellis. And then he's held back, which allows Mike Kanellis to punch Tozawa. So it looks as if there's going to be something between Kanellis and Tozawa next week. And then as it stands, Daivari and Lorcan's happening as a number one contenders match. Nice is apparently on the commentary for reasons and stuff. Let me see if it's still happening. No, it is actually still happening now. So I'll keep a track of that as much as I can.
Right.
But it's weird seeing only Lorcan in blue like he's Finn Balor. Daivari just hit a frog splash. I'm just thinking this is close to the end because the shows normally go about 50 minutes. Oh, big old Daivari Lariato, apparently. And Daivari wins. So Daivari versus Nice, I guess, is official for Money in the Bank. Maybe in the kickoff show. That happened. That has indeed occurred. Right. New Japan. What should I go through first? Owen.
We can go for the Super Juniors, or we can go through the shows that we've had lately.
Let me see. The only one that I've got listed is the one from, I think, yesterday or something. The Wrestling Dontaku Kurikan Hall shows.
Right.
The only thing that majorly went down on that is Yano Taguchi and Makabe retained the 6-man tag titles over the Gorillas of Destiny and Hiku Leo. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to have a look at the schedule. Oh, that's from last week. Okay, there is a show in Hiroshima happening this Friday. Trying to see if there's any title matches on it. Oh, the junior tag titles. Sho and Yo, Roppongi 3K defending against Shingo and Bushi, the former champs. And then we got Wrestling Hino Kuni next Monday, April 29th in Kumamoto. The big match on that one Yano Makabe challenging the Gorillas of Destiny for the IWGP tag titles. And also, there's a special singles match between Goto and Jay White. And then I don't think, Wrestling Dontaku is going to be next week, so we might as well talk about that next week as well. But yeah, just announced, I think today, as part of the. Oh wait, I need to cut that off. So I don't get distracted. So the best of the Super Juniors, if I can actually find it in my bloody notes. There we go. So it's interesting. We now have 20 participants. It's not the usual 16. So it looks like we're doing it in groups again rather than knockout like it was last time.
Wow.
So the 20 are Taguchi, Tiger Mask 4, Rocky Romero, Show and Yo, Will Ospreay. So much for him, I guess, being in the bloody different weight class because he's now in the Super Juniors. Taiji Ishimori, El Desperado, Taka Michinoku, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Bushi, Flip Gordon, Titan, Marty Skrull, Dragon Lee, Robbie Eagles, Jonathan Gresham, Bandido, Shingo Takagi, and X, who apparently will be officially unveiled at the Wrestling Dontaku show next week on the May 4th show. The X is believed to be El Fantasma.
Makes sense.
From the way the videos have been teasing it. Apparently, English commentary stated there will be English commentary airing live for every single show. So it won't be some shows they won't be able to provide live commentary. Kevin Kelly's going to be going with them on the road for that entire period. Tournament starts May 13th and goes all the way through to June 5th.
Wow.
Tournament finals taking place at Sumo Hall. Let me see. So, yeah, so I'm looking at the dates. So, best of the. Hang on. Shit. Need to blow my nose. So it's Monday, May 13th, Tuesday, May 14th, Wednesday, May 15th, Thursday, May 16th, Saturday, May 18th, and Sunday, May 19th. Then I guess you could say the big ones. Wednesday, May 22nd, Thursday, May 23rd, and Friday, May 24th. 3 straight nights in Kurikan Hall. The Kurikan Hall ones are normally where they try and do the bigger matches on the card, obviously. Sunday, May 26th, Wednesday, May 29th, Thursday, May 30th, Friday, May 31st, and then Monday, June the 3rd, and then Sumo Hall on Wednesday, June the 5th, which will be only a few days before Dominion on June 9th in Osaka-jo Hall. So the month's going to get crazy, boys. And all that. I guess we might as well mention the Shield final chapter stuff that happened as well.
Yeah.
Finn beat Elias. Bailey and Ember Moon beat the Riot Squad. With Liv Morgan not even wrestling. So, lol. I mean, it's not funny, but whatever. Then there was a tape promo from the Shield that looked like it was old school, like 2010 Shield. Or no, what was it? 2012 was it when they debuted?
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, Seth was trying to get the original jacket that they wore back at, what was it, Survivor Series when they debuted? Or was it the show? It was a Raw before it, wasn't it?
It was around that time.
And obviously Shield won. And there was a big old speech from Rollins. Not so much from Reigns. But yeah, basically Ambrose said, Shield are just like any of you, and if you set your mind to anything, he brought up how Reigns came back from something worse than anybody can imagine, and he's here. Shield's about breaking down doors and doing what others don't think are possible. And if somebody tells you can't do something, break down the door, stick your middle finger in the air, and tell them the Shield said that you could. Just as long as you don't RKO a principal. And they did the whole fist bump thing because long.
Stupid thing.
I guess. So on Impact, Scarlett Bordeaux and Fella Bar beat the Desi Hit Squad. Apparently. Then we're building hype for the Deaners making their debut soon. Desmond Xavier beat Moose in a why the hell was this match happening? Then somewhere in the Undead Realm, Kiera Hogan was met by Rosemary, who said to go away, and Hogan says that this involved her. Both Ali and Kiera keep getting in trouble because they don't know how to listen. And Kiera got in Rosemary's face saying, "I'll get involved whether I like it or not." So Rosemary beat her up. So it's like, wait, who's heel? Whose face? Then Tessa Blanchard cut a promo on Gail Kim. And then Tessa Blanchard's outside one of her husband's restaurants and bullied the patrons and the employees. Found the chef, who told her that Robert wasn't there. So Tessa, verbally abused the chef, who was apparently laughing. So, send for the man. And then Madman Fulton beat Tommy Dreamer somehow. He tortured him afterwards for Willie Mack to come with a save. And then here comes OVE, and then here comes Rich Swann. Except he tried to make the save, but failed. Choked him out, Swann, hit him with the Cactus Special. And Sammy Pillmanized Dreamer's arm while they made Rich watch. And then, basically Tommy's apparently got an injured arm and they'll need time to recover. And then Killer Cross approaches Willie Mack. But because of reasons. Then Madison Rayne facing Taya Valkyrie in a non-title match. Which thanks to a distraction from Jordan Grace, Madison actually stole the room with a roll-up. So it looks as if it's now a triple threat between Taya, Jordan Grace, and Madison Rayne at Rebellion. Johnny Impact promo with Johnny Bravo, the ref, cleaning his pool. Basically, he talked trash about Brian Cage and said at Rebellion, Cage has no deep Johnny Impact can go in order to retain his title. So I guess the hint is somebody's coming in. Is it Goldust? So then Cage confronted Don Callis about Bravo and says, look, we'll get a special ref. Scott D'Amour's got the answer. And then Scott D'Amour's like being told by Callis to run away, and it's like they don't actually have a plan. And Cage was there and threatened Scott. But all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, Lance Storm shows up. He says, have some integrity and rethink your actions. And then they were like, oh, well, yeah, this is your special guest referee. So, yeah, Lance Storm is special guest referee on Impact. Oh, by the way, that's this Sunday. Because of course it fucking is. I'll see if I think we've got a card for it. And then the Lucha Brothers beat Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards to retain. And then afterwards, well, basically LAX came out for an attack, but I'm pretty sure the fight happened anyway, or the match finished with a pinfall somehow or whatever.
Right.
Edwards then tried to comfort Eli Drake, and then fans started chanting Eli's the weak link, and they hugged it out, and Eddie's song was played. And then as they started to walk to the back, Eli Drake turned on Edwards and attacked him with a kendo stick. The great thing is, that Angle is going to have to die this Friday because he ain't employed by them anymore. Why are they still airing this when he doesn't work for them anymore? Couldn't they come up with any other ideas? Clearly not. So the matches as it stands, there's only 5, but admittedly, these 5 look good in Toronto. So we've got Taya, Jordan Grace, and by the looks of it, Madison Rayne for the Knockouts title. Rich Swann versus Sami Callihan for the X Division title. Gail Kim coming out of retirement again, taking on Tessa Blanchard. Lucha Brothers defending the tag belts against LAX in a Full Metal Mayhem match. And then Johnny Impact defending the Impact World title against Brian Cage with Lance Storm, a special ref. E. And other sorted sounds. On the Cruiserweights Collide show that aired last Wednesday after NXT, Tyler Bate beat Brian Kendrick. Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews beat Daivari and Mike Kanellis. Ligero beat Albert Hardy Jr. and Gran Metalik in a triple threat. And Jordan Devlin beat Akira Tozawa. So it's worth noting, NXT UK won everything. Does that say something, Owen? Owen?
Yes.
Does that say something that NXT UK won every single match as part of that Cruiserweights thing?
I mean, considering the fact they're trying to bring Alexander Wolf back to NXT UK to
we'll get to that. We'll get to that enjoyable stuff.
I have a feeling NXT UK is going to be a big deal moving forward in the summer.
So on NXT, Velveteen Dream beat Buddy Murphy to retain his belt. Gargano had his promo, but then the Undisputed Era did the beatdown. Dijakovic beat Aaron Fry. And then Shayna Baszler beat Kairi Sane by a DQ because of Io Shirai getting involved. And did you see like the backstage stuff afterwards? Zia Lee was getting really emotional that Kairi was going. So I guess Kairi really was like a mentor to some of the NXT girls. Which I guess with all the in-ring experience that she's got, I guess is fair. And now I need to find all the notes for NXT. So the NXT UK spoilers for the next few weeks. Cassius Ohno beat Oliver Carter in a dark match. Mustache Mountain beat the Primate and the Wild Boar. Joe Coffey beat Flash Morgan Webster to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match, which will be on night 2. And Gallus cut a promo on Dave Mastiff, with Gallus getting cheered because they're in Scotland and they're heels. So, somebody didn't think that through. Nina Samuels beat Casey Owens and then cut a promo on Tony Storm. Volta beat Pete Dunne to retain the title, except Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner interfered. Oh, look. It's fucking Ringkampf. Oh, no. But wait, there's more coming up. Piper Niven beat Jamie Hayter. Jordan Devlin beat Ligero to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way. Ela Dragunov beat Jack Stars in Dragunov's debut. I'm pretty sure Jack Stars is the same guy that got murdered by Volta in his first match. So there you go. Zia Brookside and Killer Kelly went to a no contest because Ginny and the debuting Jazzy Gabert, the alpha female, if you will, interfered. Dave Mastiff beat Wolfgang to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way. So that Wolfgang promo did a lot of good, didn't it? And then Travis Banks beat Joseph Connors to get the final place. Rhea Ripley cut a in-ring promo saying that she wouldn't compete tonight and insulted Piper Niven. And then the Grizzled Young Vets beat Kenny Williams and the returning Noam Dar from injury. Basically, earlier on in the night, Amir Jordan was attacked. So Dar came back in the segment. And then apparently probably is just something to send the fan zone happy. Gallus attacked Kenny and Dar, but then Mustache Mountain made the save. It looked like a 8-man tag thing. Maybe it was recorded, maybe it wasn't. We'll have to see. For night 2, though, it got even more tasty. So Kenny Williams beat BT Gunn on a dark match. So Eichner and Bartel came out and called themselves Imperium. And then here came British Strong Style for an attack, which will mean the 6-man will be happening later on. So then Gallus of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang beat Team White Wolf of A-Kid and Carlos Romo. So White Wolf's clearly on WWE's radar then. Cassius Ohno beat Jack Gallagher. Tony Storm beat Nina Samuels to retain her NXT Women's title. Boar and Primate beat Tyson T-Bone and Saxon Huxley. Saxon apparently was getting a lot of Jesus chants. It's a bit awkward. Then in a match that I think Owen is desperately going to want to watch, and it happens in a few weeks, Imperium beats British Strong Style on a 6-man. Except the finish got even better because Alexander Wolf made his debut and aligned himself unsurprisingly with Imperium / Ringkampf. So I think the old Ringkampf is back together, minus Timothy Thatcher. Sad face. Kaylee Ray beat Casey Owens. Noam Dar beat Mandrews. Then the Grizzled Young Vets had a promo saying they were going to defend their titles at the Download Festival in Donington. Jazzy Gabert and Ginny beat Zia Brookside and Isla Dawn. Ela Dragunov beat Joseph Connors. And then Travis Banks won the Fatal 4-Way over Devlin, Coffey, and Mastiff. To become the new challenger to Volta. So they're literally doing the reverse booking of Progress from 2 years ago. What's going on? And why is it brilliant? I think that's a rhetorical question, but whatever. Oh, it's official that Kushida started this week in the Performance Center, as did Garza Jr. and Shane Strickland. Kenny Omega versus Chima has been announced for Fight for the Fallen in Jacksonville in July. We also had the big news that Dustin Rhodes is retiring the Goldust gimmick and is facing Cody at Double or Nothing. Maybe for the last time. Shall we bring up the other AEW news as well, Owen?
What's that?
The other AEW news.
Which one?
That's the correct question.
That's why I said it that way. Which one?
I've got a feeling we're going to have an intergender match.
I think so too.
Peter Avalon versus Leva Bates to decide who is the librarian.
You know what would be the ultimate haha for this?
It was actually won by Lanny Puffer.
No, it's Shane Douglas.
Oh God, Dean Douglas is the special guest referee.
It happens. You said it first. To be fair, we called Dustin being the mystery opponent months ago. So I'm very glad. And
I honestly thought it was Holly. And then as soon as I remember seeing it via, somebody did a video package sort of hyping the match, combining all the previous stuff. It did say sounds like a personal family matter. So clearly they've been dropping the hints ever since, I think it was like episode 2, was it? Or episode 1?
Yeah, they've had that in the back burner, and it seems like since January. Apparently, he got released in he asked for his release in January, and he got it. And they basically made it so the 19th was when they could finally make the announcement, and that's exactly what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally going to get their main event match that they've been wanting to do for years.
Now I better run over the Superstar Shakeup version 2 that happened this week. Because people change brands again and whatever. So Cesaro's now gone to Raw, so the bar is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Andrade and Zelina have gone to SmackDown again, which therefore means Aleister Black has gone to SmackDown, so Ricochet and Black are on their own, which I guess makes sense. They shouldn't really been a tag team in the first place, but whatever. And Samoa Joe officially showed up on Raw. He's officially there, so I guess we don't need to have interbrand title, things now. To drop that sort of tease as to which title's going to which brand. I think that was everything, was it?
Should be.
I guess no. What we found out tonight, Jinder and the Sings going from Raw to SmackDown. That's everything. Because, they're indecisive apparently at WWE. Like, massively. It's also worth noting something that does have sort of a happier ending to it. Angela Magana, former UFC fighter and currently fighting in Combate Americas, which is Del Rio's company, basically went into a coma after some emergency surgery on Tuesday, and didn't wake up from the surgery until I think Thursday. So she was basically in a coma for at least a day. But yeah, she apparently is recovering now in hospital. Just seeing what else we've got in the notes. What's coming up? New Japan's officially announced the Sydney event as well for their Southern Showdown in terms of the Australia shows. They're going to be holding a show at the University of New South Wales Roundhouse on Sunday, June 30th, which will be a smaller, more intimate event. And apparently the show in Festival Hall in Melbourne the day before on June 29th. If you are in Australia and listen to this, tickets will be going on sale at noon Australian Eastern Time, I think that is, AET, on this coming Friday. And it'll be the first time New Japan will have been to Australia since about 14 or 15 months ago, give or take. So that looks pretty interesting. The Gorillas of Destiny and the Briscoes look to be having some sort of title match as part of the Ring of Honor War of the Worlds tours coming up in early to mid-May. Basically, apparently there's going to be a title match on May 12th. However, that's only if the Gorillas are still the tag champs on that day, because the Gorillas of Destiny are defending the tag belts against Lethal and Gresham at the Buffalo show on May 8th as well. So they're doing a lot of decent promos between each other, which don't involve Enzo and Cass. Oh, should we bring that up, Owen? I'm guessing you heard the glorious news, Owen.
I'm not.
Apparently, the Enzo and Cass thing is already done in the Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Basically, some of the officials that wanted it have been superseded by the people that didn't know it was happening and are disgusted by it. So it's an awkward mess, in all honesty. Awkward mess. Liquid filth. And stuff. Announced earlier in the week, Adam Cole and Cassius Ohno's opponents in Evolve. Adam Cole will be facing Austin Theory in a non-title match at Evolve 127th on May 10th. Also, Cole versus AR Fox is happening at 128, Evolve 128 in Indianapolis, Indiana on May 11th. In terms of Ohno, he's teaming up with Harlem Bravado to take on AR Fox and Leon Ruff at Evolve 127. And then at 128, he'll be going one-on-one with Josh Briggs. So it's all going down. And stuff. Have a quick look through. If there's any other notes. Oh, Private Party are officially part of All Elite as well now. Mainly from House of Glory. They've been for quite a bit. Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, apparently next week on Raw, there's going to be a special moment of bliss announcing all the participants for Money in the Bank. Oh, no, sorry. Raw's Money in the Bank's participants will be revealed next week. So I'm guessing we'll have to find out SmackDown's because, we've only got a few weeks. Now, something interesting. Basically, Jazz has had to vacate the NWA Women's World Title. She posted a statement on, I think, Monday. Due to medical and personal issues in my life at this time, I'm having to turn the belt over without defending it. I will post again soon. Thanks for your support. Shout out to NWA for giving me the opportunity of being the best women's champ. One hell of a run. Got to work some of the best talent in the game today. Hopefully this won't be the end until #and still. Allison Kay will now be facing Santana Garrett to crown a new NWA Women's World Champion. Of course, also happening this Saturday as part of that show, we got the Crockett Cup tournament being decided. Also, we've got Marty Scurll challenging Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight title. and Willie Mack defending the NWA national title against Colt Cabana. Should be an interesting show this Saturday, in all honesty. Interesting thing going down regarding StarCast. Undertaker and Kurt Angle got pulled by WWE from the event. It seems as if Conrad and Co are trying to make things up by getting a few other people in. They are also teasing another Japanese legend on the level of Tatsumi Fujinami to me making the trip over. Maybe Riki Choshu, considering he's retiring in a couple of months. That I'd say would be a pretty big one. Did you see the news, Owen, about the eBay sale that's going on right now? Owen? Owen?
Owen.
Oh, I'm guessing he's either muted or he's asleep. Owen? Okay, I'm going to have to do it by myself. So, NXT wrestlers have set up a little fund. I'll read the statement that is on every single listing that they've got on eBay. It says this eBay account has been set up by members of the NXT roster on behalf of fellow superstar Ricochet. On Monday, April 15th, Trevor Mann, also known as Ricochet, discovered that his mother returned home from the movie theater to find her house engulfed in flames. Luckily, Trevor's mother, her boyfriend, and his two boys are all okay. However, the family's devastated after losing a lifetime of memories that were in the house. Members of the NXT roster have come together to donate items to be auctioned off, with all proceeds going towards Trevor's mother's and family to help them through such a difficult time. If you're not able to bid, your love and support would be just as appreciated. I want to give it a mention because they've got some pretty interesting items up for grabs. We have a event-worn referee shirt from Drake, which is currently at about $200. Then we move up to $300 for ring attires worn by War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, whatever you want to call them, at about $300. Also a Shayna Baszler event-worn T-shirt, autographed. Then about the $350 mark for some Candice LeRae worn boots. Then some event-worn ring gear at about the $400 mark from Dominic Dijakovic, an event-worn T-shirt for Dakota Kai, somewhere in the region of $400, and also a Cassius Ohno autographed event-worn jersey. And Matt Riddle, one of Matt Riddle's Chosen Bros jackets. The key thing about that is they are literally two of a kind. The other one is owned by Jeff Cobb, because if you remember, they teamed for a little bit in Fight Club Pro and PWG. I think they won the tag titles, didn't they, Owen? Can you remember that? Owen's gone. Then we move up a little bit more to $570 at the minute, as of very late on Tuesday night, for Tegan Knox autographed event-worn ring gear, which looks to be one of her Wales Cymru shirts that she wore on the Indies. DIY have got a signed T-shirt along with a signed 8x10 and I think signed action figures, which is currently at $705. And then the most expensive at the minute, all four of Undisputed Era's trunks, I think from maybe War Games. I'm not sure, because it doesn't specify. It just it does specify they are the Takeover War Games 2018 trunks that they wore for the Undisputed Era versus War Raiders, Ricochet, and Dunn. That happened back in November. along with a autographed Undisputed Era T-shirt with all 4 autographs on as well. That is currently at $1,500. So as it stands, there will be probably in the region of at least, I'd say, maybe about $10,000 ish. Actually, no, because the ones are at about 200, maybe at about 5,000 at the minute. Hopefully, it'll get higher though. I can't do. I'm like Owen at the minute. I can't do math off the top of my head as to where we are in terms of numbers. There are quite a few 400s though, so maybe we're already at the 5,000 mark. We're somewhere between 5 and 10 at the minute, but you know, if you can, if you do want to buy any of them, you'll need a fair bit of money. Considering, as I say, the cheapest one you can get at the minute, you've got a bid over $200 for a Drake referee shirt. But we'll certainly be reporting next week on how much those items made. Definitely. I'll try and keep a track of it and whatever. Which probably means I'll have to really link all the pages. So I'm just doing preparation in my head and all that. Just noticed I should probably go to YouTube to see if there's anybody in the chat, considering Owen's, I think, gone. Maybe. Oh, Juan Manquilipe saying saludos. Saludos to you too, sir. And stuff. And things. And da-da-di-da. Ethan Page getting into a little interesting tweet message today. Calling out AEW for allegedly telling people that they couldn't work for certain promotions, including Black Label Pro, Freelance Wrestling, and Warrior Wrestling, who are based in and within the Chicago area. Page basically tweeted, "Hey, you know it's okay to wrestle for multiple companies in the same city, right? Unless you signed an agreement or contract that states otherwise. Sorry. Don't let somebody else dictate where you work unless they're willing to pay for exclusivity. Own yourself, don't sell out for a fake hype." He has given AEW the option of canceling him for their show in Texas at the end of May, but will honor the date if they choose not to cancel him, saying that he now, quote, couldn't care less working for them at this point. So that went down. Don't think there's any other notes that I can see there. UFC this past weekend from St. Petersburg in Russia. After the craziness of 236, a relatively somewhat subdued ESPN Plus card. The main card itself seeing Krzysztof Jofko beating Alan Alandowski in the opening main card bout via unanimous decision. 30-25 and 30-26 for the other two. So quite comprehensive. Roxanne Modafferi beating Antonia Shevchenko via split decision. Very close one. It was 29-28 across all 3 judges, except it was obviously 2-1 in favor of Roxanne. Sergey Pavlovich beat Marcel Golm in about 66 seconds with a KO. Islam Makhachev beat Arman Surikan by unanimous decision, 2 30-27s and a 29-28. And then right at the end of the first round, Alistair Overeem managed to beat Alexei Olenek via TKO. In terms of the bonuses, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Surikan got the fight of the night, so they both got $50,000. And then in terms of performances, Sergei Pavlovich with his 66-second knockout, as I talked about earlier, got a $50,000 bonus. And also the opening match of the entire card on the ESPN2 prelims. Magomed Mustafiev beating Rafael Fiziev via a spinning back kick and punches that led to a TKO close to midway through the first round. That got him a $50,000 bonus as well. So pretty sweet. This coming weekend, we've got UFC Fight Night, Jacare versus Hermanson, which will be on ESPN2, ESPN, and ESPN Plus. Spread over multiple things. This looks a relatively big card. So we got Court McGee versus Diego Lima in the welterweights. In the women's strawweights, Angela Hill versus Jodie Esquibel. It was supposed to be Jessica Penne instead of Angela Hill, but basically Penne pulled out due to injury last week, so Angela Hill stepped in. And we've also got Jim Miller versus Jason Gonzalez. Then Carla Esparza versus Vima Danaroba in the women's strawweights. A heavyweight match with Andrei Arlovsky, former champion, being that far down on the prelims. Wow. And also Ben Saunders in the welterweight division versus Takashi Sato. Those will be on the ESPN section of the prelims. And then on ESPN Plus, we have Roosevelt Roberts versus Tony Gifford in the light heavyweights. In the bantamweights, John Lineker versus Corey Sandhagen. Glover Teixeira versus Ion Cutelaba in the light heavyweights. Then for the welterweight division, Alex Oliveira versus Mike Perry. Greg Hardy versus Dmitry Smolyakov in the heavyweights. And then the main event, Ronald Jacare Souza versus Jack Hermansson of Sweden. Bellator. Be checking on that card. So we have got Bellator title fights this weekend coming as well. This Saturday. This should be fun. In San Jose, California this time. Actually, it's a pretty stacked main card. Along with Gaston Bolanos and Nathan Stolen for the lightweights. We have Phil Davis versus Liam McGeary in the light heavyweights. Benson Henderson, Ben Hen, what we call it, versus Adam Piccolotti in the lightweights. Then the women's flyweight championship will be on the line with Alima Leigh McFarland defending against Vita Arteaga. And then Rory McDonald defends the welterweight title, as well as being in the quarterfinal of the welterweight World Grand Prix, with the belt being on the line at the same time, taking on John Fitch. So it's all going down. Don't think there's any major one championship stuff until trying to have a quick look. There's a lot of Muay Thai and kickboxing stuff on the most recent cards. By the looks of it, the next one that we might bring up will be May 17th. I probably mentioned that last week, but I always keep track because I know some of you guys in the chat or watching on archive, have spoken an interest on about getting us talking more about the other stuff. Right. So I'm just trying to get some of the indie results coming from this past week. Wow, there's literally no notes about. There's no notes about the DTTI. Really? That's interesting. Let's see if I can find them. There we go. So I've got them. Right. So in terms of results, I think that wasn't this past weekend. I think we covered that, the Bigger Than Cheese's show from Pro Wrestling Eve. However, we will get to Pro Wrestling Eve in a minute. That was also from last week. Volve 126 was last week. Rev Pro was last week. There we go. Defiant Wrestling Lights Out from Wednesday last week. Martin Kirby beat Sean Custom by submission to retain the internet title. Joe Hendry beat Bad Bones John Klinger via submission. If you've seen Joe Hendry's Twitter, you'll have seen his Titanic/Art Attack inspired entrance, which is pretty interesting. Gabriel Kidd beat David Starr. Jody Fleisch and Johnny Storm beat the dynamic duo of Mark and Thomas Billington. Then Kanji voluntarily gave up the championship after suffering a broken hand in a other indie show, I guess. So Prince Amin awarded the title to Lizzie Styles, but as long as she could beat Lana Austin, which she did. I mean, she I guess technically she had the belt, but they dropped the tease of an immediate title change. But no, Lizzie Styles retained. Pac beat El Fantasmo. Mark Haskins victorious over Robbie X via submission. And then Rampage beat Rory Coyle in a no DQ match to get back the Defiant World title. So that didn't last very long. It's a bit of a shame. Beyond Wrestling's Uncharted Territory, episode 3 from last week. Wheeler Yuta beat Chuck Taylor. In the Discovery Gauntlet match, Mick Moretti beat Alex Tavares. So Mick Moretti will be in action again next week as part of that gauntlet. Chris Dickinson beat MJF by DQ. Chris Statlander beat Davien. Rory Gulak defeated Ophidian. And Orange Cassidy retained the Independent Wrestling Championship match. Or, sorry, the Independent Wrestling Championship in a match against Kylie Ray. Did you see what Black Label Pro are doing in June, Owen? Owen. Alexa, what's the time?
It's 11:36 p.m.
Did that wake you up, Owen? Oh, blimey. We might be in trouble with ending the show, boys and girls. So, the thing I was going to mention. So, yeah, Black Label Pro are doing a show in June called There's Something About Kylie, in which Kylie Ray is going to be in every single match and challenge for every single title that is on the card. So I guess they're doing just what Bailey's doing, except to the extreme. He's just pretty brilliant when you think about it. Pretty smart. So, Fight Club Pro. Have a quick look. So the results from the 3 days in Wolverhampton for nights 1 and 2 and Manchester for night 3. Day 1, Schadenfreude beat Legion of Rot in the opener to continue on to the semi-finals. Will Ospreay beat Dan Maloney. Charlie Evans beat Giselle Shaw. Jeff Cobb beat Mark Davis via DQ. Therefore, Mark Davis retains the Fight Club Pro title because of it. Then there was a tag title four-way with the besties in the world retaining over LAX, OVE, and the Hunter Brothers. Sami Callihan beat Ray Horus in a no DQ match. And then the Lucha Brothers beat Red of Aita and Pac to also progress on into the semifinals of the DTTI. We then had a tag title match, which was also part of the first round for the tournament, with the besties in the world retaining against OVE. Hallowicked then victorious over Chris Brooks. LAX beat Jody Fleisch and Johnny Storm to be the final team through to the semifinals of the DTTI. Ospreay beat Phoenix in what's said to be a really good match from those that were there that watched it. We also had Pac beating Cole Fletcher. In a scramble, Dan Maloney beat Chief Deputy Dunn, Chuck Mambo, Connor Mills, Aita, El Fantasmo, Frightmare, Jeff Cobb, Ray Horus, and Sami Callihan. Although it is worth noting, I don't know if it was this one or the following day, Aita came out as Easter, Easter, I guess, and basically had a bunny mask on or something like that, because, you know, Easter Bunny, lol. And Mark Davis retained against Pentagon Jr. to retain the Fight Club Pro title. And then the final night in Manchester of DTTI, the semi-final saw Lucha Brothers beat LAX, so they're continuing that feud, and Schadenfreude beat the besties in the world. Worth noting that the titles were not on the line for that one. It was only for the OVE first round match that they were. Ray Horus beat Chuck Mambo. Aita and the Legion of Rot managed to beat OVE. Then we had a FCP title four-way randomly. Mark Davis retained against Dan Maloney and, most interestingly, Pac and Will Ospreay. And yes, they did go at it a bit the first time since the infamous match at Rev Pro, where they decided to let it go to a time limit draw to not make either company of Dragon Gate or New Japan look bad. And then the main event, the Lucha Brothers beat Schadenfreude to become DTTI 2019 champions. I think the next show from Fight Club Pro is next month, May 24th, back in Wolverhampton. They are going to be doing a show actually in Spain on June 23rd, and then doing a show a few days later in Wolverhampton on the 28th. Then a couple of shows in July, back to back. Fight Club Pro show in Wolverhampton on July 26th, and then July 27th is the Sendai Girls UK co-production between Fight Club Pro and the Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling stuff. I'll leave it there in terms of other matches that are coming down the line. Just trying to keep track of what else went down this weekend that wasn't noted in anything, which means going to cage match, because that apparently is my new home away from home, apparently, for stuff that is happening. So, Black Label Pros Players Brawl in Indiana. I'm trying to see if there's any notes about what happened in. I can't see any notes for the other show, unless it was somewhere else. So the Black Label Pro show, Logan Stunt beat Marco Stunt in the brother versus brother for stuff. Allison Kay victorious over Maria Manic. The Workhorsemen of Anthony Henry and JD Drake beat IFHY of Jonathan Wolf and Sean Kemp. Gary J, victorious over Anthony Green. Jake Parnell retained the Black Label Pro Indiana State title in a four-way over Logan James, Bear Bronson, and AJ Gray. Alley Cat beat Jerry Ryan in the singles competition. Violence is Forever of Dominic Guarini and Kevin Koo beat the Butcher and the Blade of Pepper Parks and Andy Williams. Nick Gage beat Jordan Grace. Holy crap, that happened. Ophidian and Rory Gulak beat Weird World. And then in a six-man tag with the heavyweight title as well as the tag team titles on the line, Jake Lander, Kobe Durst, the heavyweight champion, and Trey Lamar managed to beat Ethan Page and the Space Pirates of Space Monkey and Shane Saber, who were the tag champs. So somebody helped the team of Jake Lander, Kobe Durst, and Trey Lamar. Two of those three, I guess, are tag champs now, unless it's on Freebird rules. Somewhat unclear on that. And I see there's some notes here as to what happened. Pretty sure I copied that rather than a web link, but whatever. Apparently, after helping Alley Cat to victory against Jerry Ryan, Danny Adams posed an open challenge, which was answered by Papa Shango, who used his magic skull to knock Danny Adams down, and he left. So that happened. CWF Mid-Atlantic. They had their Sky High show in Gibsonville, North Carolina. We had Ulysses Demos beat Number Bra. The Amish Outlaws and Danny Vegas beating Redemption in a six-man tag. Bellamy Koga beating Kane Justice. Roy Wilkins defeating Adrian Jackson in a non-title match. Corruption of Dirty Daddy and Ethan Alexander Sharp beating Cool J and Snooty Fox. Oh, sorry, no. Corruption and Cool J and Snooty Fox's tag match actually went to a no contest. So I don't know what that means about what's going to happen with the their spot for the Canodal Brothers Tag Team Tournament that's coming up in a week or so. And then Aaron Biggs beating Eric Royal to retain the CWF Mid-Atlantic TV title. Went down. Trying to see if we've got any other notes for stuff that I know that has happened and that I have results for and can cover and things and stuff and blah. Not that I can see. So this coming weekend, we have Bar Wrestling 34 Bonesaws Ready over in Baldwin Park, California. We got Jake Atlas versus Jerry Ryan, a six-person tag, I guess, as Heather Monroe, Jordan Grace, and Tessa Blanchard face the Rock Nest Monsters and Eric Watts. Brian Cage taking on Daga. Luchasaurus versus Moose. Nick Moretti and Tyler Bateman teaming up to take on PP Ray, and Pretty Peter Avalon and Ray Rosas. Andy Brown versus Jungle Boy. GCW's Crime Wave, which is going to be in the Voltage Lounge in Philly. This sounds like it's going to be a pretty hardcore affair, so if you're not into that, you may want to avoid it. The reason why I say that, we've got Gringo Loco versus Ophidian, Mance Warner versus Schlack, Jimmy Lloyd versus Marco Stunt, Colby Carino versus Homicide, Jonathan Gresham versus KTB, and Joey Janela versus Tony Deppen. So that sounds... I think the phrase is exciting. Maybe. We also have AIW's Gauntlet for the Gold. The big thing about this, of course, is they will have the Gauntlet for the Gold match, which is basically their Royal Rumble, with the winner getting a championship shot of their choosing at Absolution a few months later, or a few months later down the line, I should say. Shane Douglas and Francine are going to be there, apparently, appearing. In terms of matches, we've got Eddie Kingston versus Nick Gage happening this Friday. Matt Justice defending the Intense title against Joshua Bishop. We'll also have the 20-year anniversary match of Josh Prohibition versus M-Dog Matt Cross, which should be really fun. To Infinity and Beyond defend the tag belts against La Familia de Tijuana, which I think is Bestia 666 and Junior Bestia 666. DJZ's farewell to AEW in a 4-way against Flip Kendrick, Deranged, and Gringo Loco. MJF is facing the franchise Shane Douglas.
What?
Oh, there's some interesting matches on this, ladies and gentlemen, by the look of it. Oh, and apparently Savio Vega's in the J-Lit in June. That's even more fun. We also have, sorry, this is a long one. Pro Wrestling Eve's We're All Going to Die, the frantic scramble in search for meaning through a mess of meaty interactions, also known as the Chris Wolf Retirement Show. The only match that I can tell is happening from this one for sure is Kaylee Ray defending the Eve title against Nina Samuels. I'm going to have a quick look. See if there's any clues on the Facebook pages to any other matches that have been added to that. All I know is the big thing is it's, I think, Chris Wolf's last match in the UK for Eve as part of the retirement and all that. The show's sold out, so I think the only way you'll be able to access it is via on demand and everything from this Friday. I don't see anything else actually listed. They're promoting a lot of other matches from previous shows, but I don't see much for the We're All Gonna Die, the Fantastic Scramble in Search for Meaning through a Mess of Meaty Interactions. I think we just got that match confirmed. Also, Shikara's Fright Night, more inspired by Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, because that is God. Hurricane and the Patriot will be maybe participating or maybe just appearing. I'm not sure. In terms of the matches going down, the ones we know, Shazza McKenzie's facing Blank. Still Life with Apricots and Pears is no longer facing Braden Lee, because I believe he got injured at an independent show last weekend, so is unable to compete. Trying to see if we've... Oh, no, sorry. It was actually Unsocial Jordan that was unable to challenge due to injury. So Braden Lee is the replacement. So that has been corrected on their website. Good on you, Shikara. The Patriot will be taking on Jakob Hammermeyer. So I guess they are in action then. Yeah, so Jakob Hammermeyer coming back from out of nowhere to take on the good old Patriot. We've also got Hurricane teaming up with Solo Darling, Fire Ant, and Razorhawk to take on Cajun Crawdad, Calyx, Rory Gulak, and El Hayo the Ice Cream. The Whisper and Kimberly, who seem to be very much not on the same page, defend the Campeonatos de Parejas in the usual 2 out of 3 falls match style for their titles against Fist of Travis Huckabee and Tony Deppen. And then Missile Assault Man will be challenging Dasha Hatfield for the Grand Championship, which will be interesting as we'll obviously be heading into Infinite Gauntlet territory in only a few weeks after this coming weekend. So, and that obviously gets interesting because you win that, You get a free opportunity at challenging for the Grand Championship to cash in your 3 points that you get automatically for winning said event. Trying to see if there's anything else. The Crockett Cup that we previously mentioned will be going down in collaboration with ROH. I don't think there's any other matches noted for that one. Let me quickly see on the ROH website to see if we've got any details on other matches. Yeah, line up, please. Yeah, we just got the Crockett Cup matches listed, as well as the 2 title matches. Rev Pro is going to be live in Bristol as well this Sunday. In terms of what's going down on that card, hopefully I can get some details for you on that as Facebook continues to load. Well, the one I at least know, because it's there as the top photo search, Shah Samuel's taking on Brad Slayer. We've also got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Carlos Romo. So A-Kid's tag partner gets a chance to have a hell of a match with Zack Sabre Jr. Let's hope. MK McKinnon versus Michael Oku. David Starr will be taking on A-Kid as well. Some interesting matches there, I will say. And I think... I guess there is one more thing to mention. They have announced that Mystery Vortex 6, which is happening April 9th, May 10th, so in a few weeks, will be having a guerrilla warfare match. But they obviously, because it's Mystery Vortex, you're not going to know who's part of the card until they show up through the curtain or the music plays. So I don't know whether that's singles guerrilla warfare or if it's a tag team guerrilla warfare. It's something. Probably. And I think with that...
Owen, we're ready to roll. Owen. Alexa, what's the weather like?
Right now in Orlando, it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Tonight's forecast has mostly clear skies with a low of 62 degrees.
Did that wake you up, Owen?
Owen.
Owen.
Oh, God. You're back. You're back.
I'm here.
You're back. Oh, my God. I couldn't even get you to react to, like, some of the crazy stuff. Like the fact that the Pro Wrestling Eve show for Chris Wolf's retirement show is "We're all gonna die, the frantic scramble in search for meaning for a mess of meaty interactions."
God.
Among other things. Doesn't look too bad a show, though. Or too bad a set of shows coming up this weekend. Obviously, we've got a lot of big stuff next week. What with Progress's Super Strong Style 16 tournament. I think there's another GCW show. I think they're practically doing shows every week, aren't they, Owen?
Yeah, Crime Wave is this weekend.
Yeah, I went through that one. Rev Pro have got a Live at the Cockpit show next weekend, the first weekend in May. Beyond Wrestling, along with FCW and Women's Wrestling Revolution, have got their Lethal Lottery show. And then also, of course, I guess we'll have to cover next week because they'll overlap a lot with the weekend and everything. The War of the Worlds stuff with New Japan and Ring of Honor, which mainly I think will be the big name New Japan talents that aren't resting and obviously aren't in the Super Juniors, which I'm guessing means Liger, maybe.
Probably.
Because Liger obviously isn't part of the junior stuff, because his last junior stuff was last year. Oh, and of course you got the Kaiju Big Battle stuff next weekend as well. But yeah, a few decent looking shows coming this weekend. But it gets a little bit busier next week. But then of course, going around all of that, we've also got the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, which will just cover. I think we'll just cover that traditionally, won't we, Owen? On Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever we do it.
That sounds about right.
Rather than doing it live. Then I think the next pay-per-view would be Money in the Bank, wouldn't it? May 12th.
Yes.
And then May 25th. Or Saturday, isn't it? May 25th.
Yes.
For Double or Nothing, which we might do live depending on our schedule.
That's a really good bet, actually.
Yeah, that might be the only one where it's like, we'll do that one. We'll do that one, either live reaction to it or maybe do a live review sort of afterwards, sort of thing. Because Owen will be invested in that one.
I'm still trying to find out if I'm going to be in either Daytona Beach for CEO Gaming or in Jacksonville for Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly yet. I will find out.
NXT tapings. No, I don't want Melbourne. Is that Melbourne, Australia, or is that a different Melbourne?
Melbourne, Florida.
Maybe. Tapings at Full Sail. Oh, for the tapings for May 1st have already sold out, because of course they have.
Right.
Oh, interesting. They're going to NXT in Jacksonville on May 31st. Oh, ticket. So apparently the next tapings at Full Sail, which are June 12th and 13th. Oh, so they're doing 2 nights of tapings. So I guess that's going to build to SummerSlam. Oh, that's the other thing that I didn't forget to mention. Apparently, Backlash has been cancelled for June. The pay-per-view that was supposed to be accompanying the takeover in San Jose.
Right.
Which may or may not be happening as well. The reason seems to be being the Saudi show, if it's happening, was going to be a week before it. And I guess they didn't want to knacker the talent. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But at least we know they are going to be doing 2 days worth of taping in June after the May 1st one to obviously build up to August and NXT TakeOver Toronto. Canada.
Yes.
Places like that. Now I think that's everything.
Yeah. Lots of content coming at you this week.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is the end game week, of course. So that means that we will have your video for Friday will be the Avengers Endgame.
Also, I'd like to give a shout out to actually UK cinemas that have actually got the balls to put 8th Grade on, despite the fact it is going up against Avengers Endgame. I saw it earlier tonight, really enjoyed it, because I honestly thought no cinema was going to show it. There'd just be too many bloody showings of Avengers. Turns out they're actually being kinder than I thought. So, full credit to some of the cinemas out there that are showing it, because there's 2 really good films out this week. Well, I'm hoping Avengers Endgame is good. I'm going to find out in about 24 hours from now when I get out the double bill screening that I'm going to. But I think AJ reviewed positively 8th Grade, didn't he?
Yes.
So, I agree with him. But yeah, I just wanted to give that as a shout out, because I just noticed that a lot of I'm just looking. Wow. Sorry. I just want to do this as a live thing for Owen to react to. The only films on at my 7-screen local are Spy Cat, which I guess is just for kids, which looks to be really whatever the hell that is. Hey Dougie at the cinema, whatever the hell that is. Well, I guess that's TV stuff. Missing Link, Peppa Pig Festival of Fun, Wonder Park, and 2 showings of Dumbo.
Wow.
There is nothing else. Everything else is Avengers because it's 181 minutes.
Yeah.
No Us, no Red Joan, no Captain Marvel. It's basic. I guess I'm pleased that I'm seeing it now because next week will literally be a week off because nobody's showing anything else. God damn it. I do need to promise though, there should be a sip and snack coming from me at some point over the next 7 days. Also, even though it isn't Easter anymore, I did manage to get a 40th anniversary special package thing for the anniversary screening of Monty Python's Life of Brian. So I'll be opening that and unveiling what was in them and whatever. So I'll try and do them too for the week to leave you guys with more content and things like that. And hey,
Sounds good. Where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at Ash is my name UK, where I think the last thing I liked on Twitter was Backyard Wrestling Out of Context with the Indian Angar TV, Backyard Wrestling guys burning people alive because lol.
Interesting. So you can follow me on Twitter at Sarah and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page, Popcast Network. If you have any ideas for Sip and Snack versus the other regular segments on the network, feel free to shoot us an email, sarahdanddisney@gmail.com. Like I said before, we have the Avengers Endgame review coming up. The Curse of La Llorona is coming as well. And the Return of the Twilight Zone. So that's going to be coming very soon. I've got more Sip and Snacks on the horizon. I still haven't done any for a while, so it's probably going to be something coming up in the near future. I also have more Voices of Liberty, so I got to put those up as well. So stay tuned for all those, and stay tuned in the network for all your coverage as we move into May. So, as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
God bless you, Nick.